Alright, doing a follow-up update video since the other one had some terrible audio on it. I'll make this one a little quicker. But yeah, basically, all the Jabos are doing pretty good. Planted a little community pot of reds down there. I'll deal with that probably in the spring. But been potting a whole bunch of stuff up. Just basically going through, finding anything that's just drying out real fast and just popping it up, one step or so. I've got this little community pot of patombas that I've got to separate. Interestingly, one thing I noticed this year is none of my Eugenias that fruited last year fruited this year. Not sure what the deal was with that. I'm assuming that, like my Patomba, I bumped it up to a much larger pot and it just put on a lot of top growth. So I'm assuming it just decided not to. My Suriname cherry is in the ground though, over there, and I think we maybe got like one fruit. So maybe it was just, I don't know. We didn't have like a normal spring this year, so maybe that just kind of messed it up. Oh, look at what I found right here. Got a little terrorist. We're gonna get rid of this guy. I was wondering who was eating my Patomba tuba. Deal with him later. But yeah, so everything's getting potted up. Everything seems to be growing pretty well. I've got these seedlings over here that I popped in, was it like 2 months ago? These are the Tigrada and yeah, this guy and the Vermelha. That's also a Tigrada. Move this guy back over here. It had like an extra seed that came in there. Yeah, Costada Vermelha Gigante. So those are progressing pretty well. A little chlorotic looking. I'm not sure why. I hit them with a little tiny bit of fertilizer, so might need to use some different water on them. But anyways, yeah. What else is going on? The all the lukes have pretty much popped out. The variegated one has maintained its variegation after fully hardening off, which is a good sign. I have one back there that's put out a second set of leaves, so hopefully the variegated one isn't too far behind that. Let's see, anything special? So since the last October update I did, and I was talking about like this is that Sabra X that I got from Adam, and it's got some bumps kind of growing all up and down the trunk. So definitely just new growth like that right there. Probably that one above it. But the one that is interesting to me is like right here. It's kind of hard to see, but that looks more like a flower to me. Let's do a 5x zoom so we can get in there. That looks like a flower. So keep an eye on that. Where are we at? This is the Broncovino Vitrantha. We've definitely got some flowers down here. So hooray, new fruiting variety. Assuming it's a Broncovino, we'll find out soon. It looks like we got a little worm trying to ruin my, let's get him out of there. I don't want you to eat my stuff. Got rid of him. One of the problems of growing in a lanai is you're pretty much growing in a greenhouse, and any pest issues that you would have, you continue to have in here. So like ants come in and they farm scale and aphids, and you get like the little tiny moths kind of fly in here and start eating your plants. It's kind of annoying. So you have to deal with them manually. But anyways, here's the Vitrantha giant red crystal. It's a really cool looking Vitrantha. Like I like the it's hard to tell, but like these leaves are kind of an interesting shape where they're like kind of canoe shape, They kind of come up like a boat, um, which I think most Petranthas that I've seen so far, they kind of are more flat. Um, and so no, it's kind of interesting. But the new growth comes out. It's like a very like peachy pink color. Um, can't wait to try the fruit on that. But and here's my grafted Paulista. Um, kind of it's kind of like heavy on this side, so I'm kind of shading out a little bit, and it's got a little bit more light there more than right here, so it's starting to push up this way. So I'm trying to balance it out a bit. Um, let's see, and that is from Fruiting Wood from Flying Fox Fruits. We got a bunch of scarlet fruits on this guy. So it finally kicked off. It's starting to go crazy, and I've had one fruit off of this so far. It's pretty good. Like I think it tastes better than the red, but it's very close to the red, so yeah, I can't complain too much, or at least close to my red. This is just a red seedling here that I potted up. Transflora Gigante, looking pretty good. I think I mentioned before that I thought this was a cutting from the Broncovino, but I'm pretty sure it's actually cutting from my Trunciflora right here. Like this, literally just a clone of this plant right here, and it's doing pretty good. Like if you go back and look at my videos on this thing, it's actually growing pretty fast, like a lot faster than what I would have assumed that a like rooted cutting would do. Look at this cuspidata. This thing is so cool. Like it's the same. I have several cuspidatas. Like, and it's interesting because like these are from the same batch of seeds, and they look completely different. I've got a couple of them around here. Where's the other one at? I think the other ones are back there. But like this one's so cool. It's like a little, very ornamental. I'm sure it's going to be amazing looking once it starts flowering. It's just very satisfying to touch. It's like a little cloud. I'm sure the fruits are more so bird food, but I just got the tree because it's very attractive. Like, so cool. It's about, I don't know, 2 years old now? Maybe starting its third year. I'd have to go back and check. Yeah. This is one of my other Cambucas that I grew from seed. Actually, the other one pittered out on me, and I went to check the root ball yesterday, and yeah, no signs of life in that thing. So that's unfortunate. Let's see. Yeah, these Inga vulpinas, I'm kind of wondering if they're actually vulpina. It's definitely different from this Inga and any of the other Ingas that I have. This is, I think, Inga Vera. So, but I've seen posts of people's vulpinas on the forum, and they're quite a bit different looking than this. But yeah, maybe it's just because these are not grown out too well, and there's something eating these, and I can't find them. Dang worms this time of the year. Like cools off slightly, and the bugs come out. Yeah, I think it's actually good for some of the plants to get eaten like that. So I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, we never got any fruit set on the Vexeter here. Let's see what else is going on. I got a lot of Petanga tuba seedlings. Oh, and here's what happens when you let your Jabos dry out. Not great. I'm pretty sure they're still alive, so I just watered them and put them in shade. Lots of Jabos over there. Some Genias in there. We got a whole big wave of fruit come off. I didn't pick all the fruit from the last little tiny wave we had, but I gotta make sure I get some good ones because there's a local brewery that's interested in trying making a sour out of the fruit. So I told the brewmaster I'd bring him a bag full and he can get the flavor profile out of it, which would be pretty interesting to try. Here's my Grimmel Sabra hybrid. There's apparently a worm in here as well. quite annoying. Let's see if we can find him. Well, there's a little worm right there. What are you doing, Ripley? All right. Yeah, I don't see it. Could be anything. Like sometimes you get those lubbers and they just eat everything. So here's some madrunos that I potted up. This is a Rosa de Pescos. This is one of my earlier Jabos that I got. It's finally starting to get its foothold. It's looking pretty good. It used to look pretty terrible, like the root ball wasn't doing too hot. And came out of it. I had to redo the soil several times. It was a dead branch, took that off. I need to come through in here and prune off some of these little offshoots because that right there is kind of gnarly. But we'll probably wait till after the cool passes. Here's my Coronata Estinga. I love the shape of this tree. It's just a really, I find like all the Coronatas seem to just be very vertical. It's got a really nice growth habit to it, and the new growth looks really cool. Very like metallic and two-toned. And what was that, like a I can't think of the word. Like kind of like an ultramarine kind of iridescence to it. I think this here is just another red seedling. Yeah, I hit a lot of these with a bunch of fertilizer because they started, looking kind of meh. And my red seedlings I neglect pretty bad because I've got a couple hundred of them at this point. Like all these in here, they're all fine. They just probably need to be potted up. If someone cared for them individually, they would look great. But I think this here, this is a Broncodino. It's doing fine. There's a bunch of, actually this is a Otto Anderson, Asucana Coronata. There's a couple of Anthropophaga Eugenias in here. They probably need to be potted up as well. They've been a little chlorotic. I've got some Raponda Blacks in here. These things grow like crazy. I hit these with a bit of fertilizer because they started looking like that. New growth is coming out looking all right. Yeah, so I'm not worried about it. Yeah, this one too, you can see before the fertilizer and then after the fertilizer. So here's the grafted squat Garcinia. It grew a lot really quickly for me, and then it just kind of stopped. Probably the time of year. I'm hoping it's just working on its roots, so it should be fine. Might need a bit of fertilizer. Might be getting a little too wet. Here's one of my grafted lukes from Adam, and this one is just like in complete stasis. It's only put out one set of leaves. I think I've had it for like 2 years. So if you want a very, very slow growing Garcinia, that's definitely one to graft because I feel like they grow slow from seed and then they're like even slower if they're grafted for whatever reason, but not necessarily a bad thing, especially if you're growing them in pots, I guess. This is my yellow Grimmichama. It's pretty big. When I first got it, it was like this big. It is a seedling, so I don't know if it's going to be yellow or not, but it's different enough from like my other Grimmichamas, which are just the regular one. Like in terms of like shape, like the leaf shape on it is totally different. So you see these are like a lot wider and kind of wavy. If you go look at the other Grimmichama, they're more taut, like and flat. Let's see. I know I've got a couple over here. Yeah, here we go. This is the other Grimmichama. You see that they're just different. Two Grimmichamas, sibling Grimmichamas, and so yeah, there's a noticeable difference. Even if the fruit comes out as black, I think it's probably going to taste different. What else? Since we're over here, here's More Garcinia. This is the Pakuri, the more cold hardy one. There's another Pakuri down there. Probably need to pop that one up. Yeah, I've got some Macrophylla duacres that probably need to be potted up. Look at that. They're super chlorotic looking. Actually, well, it's got some new growth coming out. It's probably fine. This is the orange Guapiroba. These are those Campomanaceas. I can't remember the species. But they're finally starting to take off. They're really pretty. I hear the fruit is mid, but we'll try it out. I've also got a orange cherry of the Rio. It's a really pretty looking tree. I got these from Huertas Urbanas. These are the Psidium cauliflora or cauliflorum. I've got two. I had 3 seeds that actually germinated. It seems like once they germinate, like they're pretty strong. I think they could probably take full sun, honestly. They've been getting eaten by worms. Let's see if we can find them. Yep, there it is. Look at these little guys. Look at that. And you're going to go into the worm bucket with your other worm friend. We'll take care of you later. See, I got a bunch of peppers growing too. These are those lemon drop peppers. Not super hot. I mean, they're like about as hot as like a cayenne pepper, but they don't burn as hard or as long. They're kind of like quick. Let's see. We got 16 minutes. I'll try and close this up pretty quick just to show what's going on here. So I potted up. I had a bunch of like Suriname cherries that I've been neglecting because I'm not a big fan of them, but I also don't want to just let them die. So I finally went ahead and potted them up. They were probably these 1 gallons for like 2 years and were completely root bound. But the crazy thing is they would completely dry out. And you know, you can see like the worst one is probably like this guy right here. Like they just completely dry out and defoliate and look like crap. You hit them with a little bit of water every now and then, or it rains. Like I just completely forgot about them, or not really that I forgot about them. I just didn't really care too much, and they just survive. Like they're really strong trees. It's crazy, and I'm sure now that I potted them up, they're probably gonna double or triple in size very quickly. They're very very ready for it, and they've also been out unprotected from the cold. So like this is like cold damage from last year, and it never really dropped its leaves. They usually will drop their leaves after cold damage, but I don't think it wanted to because it didn't have any new growth on it. So they kind of just looked like they did last year after the cold, the entire year. So it would be interesting because like these Suriname cherries in particular just seem to be like super durable. I don't know how it compares to this one because these came from a tree that I found in in Clearwater like 3 or 4 years ago, and yeah, these are 3 or 4 year old trees. So you know, they're only that small because they've been in those 1 gallon pots. But you know, this is my Zildart seedling, and or it's a graft, I'm not sure, but like it doesn't seem to handle the cold as well as those did, and those are just random Suriname cherry. So, and they were a red type, or at least the ones I ate were a red type. Maybe they weren't fully ripe, but yeah. So maybe they're good rootstock. We'll see what we can try and graft onto them. Maybe, or maybe we'll let them fruit and use their seedlings as potential rootstock. I got to experiment with that because I was able to graft, was it Stipitata onto Pitanga tuba, and I think there's probably more compatibility than we're aware of just through trial and error. So looks like the persimmon is starting to drop its leaves for the winter. Definitely some activity on my Sabra here. This tree is starting to get pretty big. It's getting close to 6 feet tall now. I think I showed this video or this plant. It was in a 15 gallon, I think, when I started making videos. And now it's been in the ground for 2 years. And I think it's finally pretty well established here. I don't have to water it really at all. I mean, sometimes it gets really dry and I don't want to lose my Sabra, so I hit it with the hose here. We haven't had rain in 2 months, so I just want to make sure this thing is as healthy as possible. I think it would be fine if I didn't water it, but I don't want to lose my oldest Sabra. But it's starting to fruit, I'm pretty sure, or it's going to be flowering here soon. There's like bumps all over it. It might be holding off now because it's starting to cool down a bit. Maybe it's storing energy for the spring, because I think that's typically when we get fruit off of these things. So I can zoom in on that. Let's see. What are them bumps all about there, though, huh? You guys tell me. So we can zoom back out. Here we go. So hopefully we'll get some fruit off of it the next year. Start building up my Sabra root stock and sharing some trees. The Quaimuk. Huge tree. I can't wait for it to be a little bit more shady over here. Let's see. Plinia oblongata. This is just a seedling. And it's the only one I have. I saw on Bellamy's eBay listing, there was a oblongata Momotaro variety. It's supposed to be a sweet version of oblongata. So I went ahead and put a bid on it and got it for, what was it, like $55 after shipping. I think it was a pretty good deal. It looked like it was like a half-gallon or 1-gallon pot. Needs a little bit of R&R. So I think once I get it, it'll be a little more healthy. I know Bellamy's got a ton of trees to take care of. So I'll definitely bring that one back to life. But good to have a backup, different variety as well. I'll probably keep that one in a pot. This one was more of a trial because I know in the oblongatas are used for rootstock. So I'm not really necessarily growing this one out for its fruit to eat. Obviously, I like sour stuff, so I'll enjoy it anyways. But this was kind of an experiment to see like how well does it do, just being in the ground, being neglected. It does pretty good. Like you can see it's taking some full sun, and it's got not too many blemishes. Like there's some over here. I think that's last year's growth. The bees have been coming in and taking chunks out of it for their nests, but other than that, like, it looks pretty dang good. Like, this is one of the greenest Jabos I have, so I think it's a superior rootstock. But that remains to be seen. So anyways, that's why I'm working on those oblongatas. There's not too many of them around as far as I'm aware. So I'm going to wrap this up. This Luke's, I think it's probably about to push out some new growth. So this is my other grafted one. Got set back from the hurricane a little bit, but we're babying it quite a bit. My Achacha dropped a lot of leaves. I think it was like just a lot of burnt foliage from the hurricane last year. Like the wind from the hurricane last year like messed this thing up. But I'm guessing it's pretty typical for the Garcinias to drop their leaves, because all of mine seem to do it around the same time when they're like, maybe it'll flush out some new growth. I know it's got like a little nubbin right there popping out on this fairly completely bare little offshoot. But I don't see anything else popping out. Let's see. The tree looks good. Like I'm not worried about it. Like I just want it to grow and get fruit off of it, So, yeah. I don't know. It looks pretty good on this side. It's a little more shaded on this side from the bananas. It's kind of the main reason I have these bananas, or I planted this here so that it would be protected from the sun in the afternoon. Oh look, there's some nubbins on this too. so maybe I'm, come on, zoom in. Nubbins? I'll show the nubbins. Focus. 2 times. Yeah, see the nubbins popping out, so that's a new growth. Yeah, so I'm always worried about the achacha, but I'm sure the achacha is not too worried. It's doing what it needs to do. See what else is going on. This achacha over here is looking pretty good. Looks like it's got a little bit of leaf burn, but it's doing pretty good in that spot, and it's pretty shaded. I put one of those Suriname cherries in the ground here because I didn't have enough pots or soil made already, so I was just like, yeah, screw it, throw it in the ground, see what happens. Can't have enough fruit trees. What else is going on? There's a directly sown Suriname cherry here, which is growing at a snail's pace, but it looks damn good. Like, I don't water this thing, I don't fertilize it, I don't do nothing. And look at that. Look how green it is. It's so cool. And I've got a couple of directly sown reds here as well. So there's one there, and there's one there. And then I've got a couple that I put in the ground from their little 4-inch pots over here. There's one there, and one right there. This black sapote is existing. My seashore mangosteens are doing well. I'm actually expecting them to push some new growth out. There's a lot of, you can kind of see the energy stored up, like in between the cracks. So once I start looking like that, I know they're about to pop open. We got some star fruit ripening up. I think this year's the year. I'm hoping that's going to be a tasty star fruit. Like, they've never been this big. You know, it's never set so much fruit. So that's just awesome. The tree looks fantastic. I think really what helped it a lot was planting this Orinoco banana here. And originally it was just like one shoot that came up, but then all the other stalks came up and pretty much shade it from the intense sun in the afternoon. So it gets good morning sun, decent afternoon sun, and then just none of the like super intense heat, so it can kind of pull through a little better. Cambuca's doing fantastic. I'm guessing we're probably going to get another flush of growth, maybe. I kind of hope it stores that energy as it gets colder. I do see some little buds starting to pop there, so it might flush one more time before it gets like freezing temps or potential freezing temps. But just look at that. Look at the peeling. It looks so good. I can't wait for this tree to be like 10 feet tall. Yeah, there's some new growth there. This is one of my favorite trees. But yeah, I think I'm gonna call it here. I don't want to make another super long video. These dang slugs keep eating all of my peanut grass that I keep trying to plant. Maybe I just need to plant 10 times more peanut grass. But we bagged up one of the last fruits. I'm kind of experimenting on this because I think it may have already been stung before I put the bag on, because the other fruit had a fruit fly in it. But there's another one down here that I'm leaving unbagged, so we'll see how that works out. But yeah, that's pretty much all that's going on. I'll do some smaller videos. I just figured I owed like another long video with decent audio. Hopefully it's decent audio. I haven't checked it yet. Oh my god, look at all these little katuk fruits. I gotta prune this thing back. That's crazy. All the little flowers. Is it gonna zoom in on it? Yeah, just the whole thing is loaded like that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Take care, y'all.